Sure. Andrew, you said that Trump did not defy the Supreme Court. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what higher court rulings have been issued by the Supreme Court, which he's defying?
Well, I'm asking you. You said he did not defy the Supreme Court. So what do you mean by
Yeah.
he has not defied the Supreme Court? What are you saying by that?
To my knowledge, the Supreme Court has not issued any rulings in which he is not complying with.
Great. So what about Abrego Garcia? When I believe on April 10th, the Supreme Court ruled they needed to facilitate the return of the administration, and then the administration then dragged their feet, ignoring Judge Paul Zinnes, to return them. And it was not until June 6th, months later, that they ended up returning Abrego Garcia after they said that they had tried and dragged their feet saying they would. It took Judge Zinnes multiple times telling them they needed to facilitate the return, and they did not facilitate the return.
I'm sorry.
So would you agree then on that case that he defied
really
the Supreme Court?
Hang on, I'm really confused. It sounded like you just said the guy was returned.
Oh, wait. But the original claim is that he did not defy the Supreme Court, right?
Well, I'm confused how he defied the Supreme Court when he returned the guy.
Gotcha. Well, so then he did not defy the Supreme Court initially, then, is what you're saying, then, right? So you would acknowledge that
all branches of government have various processes in which they go down, right? And there was a process which was involved with this. They went through the process, and then they complied with the Supreme Court and returned him.
What was the process here? Judge Zinnes said to return him, and they did not. Did they not?
Yeah, it seems like it was.
They did, didn't they? Didn't they return him? Didn't they in fact return him? Didn't they in fact return him?
Didn't they defy the Supreme Court?
Answer my question.
Did
they return the guy?
Answer my question. Did they defy the Supreme Court?
You can't
as
answer
soon as
my
you answer
question.
mine, I'll answer yours.
You're answering questions with questions.
You can't answer my question.
Yes,
you said
no, they didn't defy
I called you out on it. You said
they didn't defy him.
No. Okay. No. So Andrew Wilson is redefining how we're talking about defying
great. Now,
the
can you
Supreme
answer
Court.
my question?
Clearly defied.
Now, can you answer my question? Did they return him?
Them returning it does not change or negate the fact
that. Remember how I said no? Yes or no? Did they return it or not?
Oh, it's not a yes or no. Hey, it's not a yes or no answer.
Answer the question, you stupid loser. Answer my question. Yes or no? Did they return him?
Andrew?
Did they return him or not?
Are you
just answer the question
and then give the explanation?
I don't want it. Here's what I don't want in this debate. I don't want mealy mouth. Just answer the questions and I'll answer yours. That's how a debate should work. Now answer my question. Did they return the guy or not?
Yes.
Okay,
but that doesn't change the fact that they defied the Supreme Court. Yes, exactly. That's the problem here. And that Andrew, when he realized, because he sat here and said initially that we're not going to bring any examples. Once I brought an example, he got scared and realized, oh, I have to pivot to say, well, they eventually brought him back, but it doesn't change the fact that they defied the Supreme Court. They initially defied it, and you were proven wrong immensely when I said that. You weren't prepared for spring facts, were you, Andrew?
Oh, gee.
So they went through the process and then
they went through the process and then returned him. Oh my God, constitutional crisis. Holy, what an authoritarian dictator. You got me, bro. Fuck.
Andrew.
It was after
I quit this debate. Ruling, right? Oh my God, I'm just destroyed. Idiot, they returned him. They went through a process. Yes, that's how it works.
This is hilarious. Right? He's trying to redefine how define works. Do we need to pull up the definition of define, Andrew?
Yeah, pull up the definition of define.
Well, I think at this
define.
We would have
Give
to
me a definition for definition.
Because it sounds like, Vince, you're saying that they defied the courts for a time and then eventually abided by the court order. Correct, Vince?
Sure, but the question was, Andrew asked,
by the order.
Sure, exactly.
Ultimately, but they initially defied the Supreme Court.
Yeah, so you're saying for that period of time, what was it, 2-3 months that you're saying they defied the courts for that period of time, and Andrew's saying, okay, they eventually got it. So Andrew, do you agree?
Doesn't change the fact that they defied the Supreme Court.
Period of time?
Yeah, I think that when you have court rulings, especially and new court rulings, especially, there's usually a process for compliance. This will happen on every level of government, whether or not this is executive branch or not. There's going to be a process in which to comply. And I think they went through a process for compliance with that ruling. They wanted to exhaust all of their avenues on it. I would do the same exact thing if I was an executive. When they couldn't exhaust anymore, they followed through with what the order was. This is how branches of government work. I don't know what's wrong with you, bro. That's how they work.
Yeah, the way it works is
Uh-huh.
that when someone sits there and a judge says to bring them back and they drag their feet after numerous times of being told to bring them back. And by the way that they were arguing this was they were arguing on the case of saying that this is facilitate. And so they argued on that merit alone. But the problem is they continued to drag their feet. So again, you want to pivot off with it? That's fine. We could talk about the judicial injunctions if you like, about how they're defying those injunctions, namely the Harvard Research Grant funding, federal grant and loans frozen, tariffs under the International Emergency Economics Power Act. We can talk about that, which is a big theme of this administration.
You're just reading your talking points. Let me bring up the next point then. I'll bring up the next point since we gave you guys the first.
You're not going to engage on that, are you? Okay,
yeah,
let's go on to the next
hang
point.
on. We'll get back to it. But don't you think it's fair that if you get a point to bring up, that we can bring up a point as well? And it was something which was mentioned in the opening statement.
I'd like you to address my point, but if you want to go.
Okay, so anyway, you brought up what happened in the LA riots as part of your point for authoritarianism. This is over to Corbin.
I did, or who would? Oh, Corbin.
Corbin, whose name is not yours. So anyway, Corbin, you brought this up as though this was some authoritarian act by the Trump administration. Are you aware, like, we watched those riots every single night on sometimes as many as 15, 20 cameras at a time, watching what was going on.
What a pivot.
Watching the, am I even allowed to
finish?
What a
pivot.
I'm not allowed to finish.
No, because again, I think this is hysterical. Andrew, I just called Andrew out on 3 other particular issues, and Andrew just totally pivoted over to the LA riot. This is hysterical.
Let him ask his question first. Let him ask his question.
Let me. Yeah,
I mean, are you sure? It seems that the Vince is very upset that we're allowed to have points and he's allowed to have points. I'm sorry about that, Vince. But anyway,
I asked you to address my points that you are running away from. You're running away from them. Why are you running away from them?
Did I not tell you that we would come? Did I not tell you that we can come right back to this? You get a point, we get a point. Isn't that fair?
Yeah,
but it works where you address my point.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay, that's fine. Run away, Andrew. Go ahead. Run away, Andrew. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Run away from this point, Vince. You're just running away. You're just filibustering, making sure that your partner can't ever respond because you're a coward. Anyway,
you're running away from addressing the point because you're afraid of actually engaging with the facts of the case. Because you don't like engaging with the facts.
Rudely interrupted by your dork of a debate partner.
Fifis. Go ahead.
I would like to have you actually address this. So we were watching these on the cams each night. And we saw that the police were clearly standing down. They were not enforcing the order of law. We come to find out later that there was many NGOs which were funding these riots, many NGOs. In fact, the whole thing was funded by NGOs, especially their famous Day of Rage. Why is it that you think that Trump shouldn't have sent in the Marines in order to bring law and order back to Los Angeles when this was going on? Why? Doesn't that seem like it's well within the purview? Hang on. Let me finish the question. I'm almost done. Don't you think that that's well within the purview of the executive under Article 2?
No. So specifically, the reason that I said it was an example of an erosion between state and federal power is Trump was federalizing the National Guard at behest of the head of the state, that being Governor Newsom, when he didn't have the authority to. It violated that.
He does have the authority
statute
to federalize the National Guard.
Well, Section 12406 that he cited in his executive order to try and federalize the National Guard states explicitly that those powers shall be granted through the governor of the state, that being Newsom. And Newsom felt like the National Guard wasn't needed in that instance.
The National Guard is, they are GIs. They are government issue. It is true that the state can deploy them, but ultimately they serve the behest of the President of the United States.
Well, no, they're state police. They belong to the state. They're under the purview of the governor.
So the federal government can't mobilize the National Guard for the purpose of war, and neither can the president. Is that correct?
Well, they can, but there has to be a process for it.
I see.
Those powers.
What process?
Under Section 12406, under Section 12406 that Trump cited in his executive order as to why he had the ability to federalize the National Guard and deploy them to LA, states explicitly that those powers shall be granted through the governor of the state. And Gavin Newsom did not give Trump consent to federalize the National Guard.
He doesn't need consent. He's the commander-in-chief. He can send in the Marines if he wants, and he can.
Okay, but under that statute.
So what you're saying is
under that exact statute,
I'm actually going to grant this. So I'm actually going to grant that there was a process error here. Let's just grant it for the sake of it and say that you're right, that there's a process error. Trump is the
Well,
commander.
no,
Trump is the
even-
commander.
oh,
Hang on,
sorry,
hang on.
hold
Calm down.
Andrew,
Calm down,
hold
bro.
on,
Calm down. I'll grant
I've
the
let you
argue.
speak a
Okay, you're
lot.
gonna spur out.
Hold
All
on,
right,
I've
go
let
ahead.
you speak. Oh, I've
Okay.
let you speak a lot.
Go ahead.
The reason, wait, fuck, I lost my train. Never mind. Do your thing. I lost my train of thought.
Are you sure? Okay, see, she should just
Yeah,
let
I
me
lost my
finish,
train
bro.
of
I
thought.
would have let you have all the time in the world to talk. So anyway, the point here is that yes, Trump is a commander in chief. So when I look at Article 2, I mean, he can broadly do what he wants with the military. I mean, he can pretty broadly do that. Him sending in the National Guard, him sending in the Marine Corps, I think he did have executive authority to do. Not only that, I'm not even sure that if I were to grant to you that there was some process error here, how that would necessarily be an him accumulating power to himself. Even if there was a process error, that doesn't seem like an accumulation of centralizing authority. The president already is the commander in chief. Already.
Well, I don't know if I would categorize it as a processing error. I would say it's a direct violation of the statute that he himself cited as to having power to deploy the National Guard.
Do you think that Trump himself sat down in an office and read through all of this? Or do you think that he was reliant on people around him to tell him what authorities he has and doesn't have?
Trump's administration, it's the same thing.
Okay, so you think that there was people around him who sat down with him and explained that he has the said authorities, right?
Okay,
Can you answer my question?
sure.
Yeah, sure. So that doesn't sound to me like the process of a person who's trying to accumulate maximum amounts of power to himself, but rather a person who's
Okay, so Trump,
utilizing.
okay, so,
Hang on,
so
hang on,
Trump
man.
isn't
Let me
trying
make
to,
the
hold on, so
point, and then
Trump
you can
isn't trying to
respond.
accumulate
Okay,
power.
go ahead.
So Trump isn't trying to accumulate power, but his administration is. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, that wouldn't even that wouldn't logically follow. So let's walk it through logically. You're president of the United States, and you want to send the military in order to enforce law and order, and you and your administration broadly think that you have that authority and that you're complying with the Constitution when you do that. That would be the opposite of you trying to accumulate power. That would be you instead just enforcing your role as the commander in chief. Yeah.
No.
No. Oh, okay then.